All right, what's up guys? We are going to be looking at routers again today, but we're going to be looking at all the cordless routers and the different options you can get for all the attachments and everything. So we already looked at all these routers, how you buy them, like this with just the standard base, and the performance of each router. If you want to go see that video review, link in the description, I'll put it up so you can go to that. So we're not really going to focus too much on the actual performance of the routers today, just the attachments that go with them. And so we're just going to get rid of these router bases for now, put them over here, and we're just going to look at all the different options you can get for all of these routers that's not the standard base that comes with it. Because routers are an awesome tool that pretty much any trim carpenter needs, and they're super versatile, especially when you have all these different options to be able to do different jobs and do it well. All right, first thing we're going to look at is plunge bases. Plunge bases are one of the most common router accessories, and the DeWalt, Milwaukee, and Makita all have plunge bases that you can buy to add on to your router. So they all slip in, and as far as the adjustment goes, you don't use this adjustment on it anymore. They just all pretty much slip in the same. Put them in there, and they all clamp on. All right, so you can see the routers, the plunge base, basically it's on those rails and it can slide easily up and down. So they all pretty much work the same like that. You can see they all have your dust port connection on them. They both have nice grippy handles on each side of them, and they all have pretty much this lever that either locks or releases the up and down. So both the Milwaukee and the DeWalt work the same, where these are both spring loaded, and when you're not touching it, they're locked, but when you pull it back, it goes freely up and down like this. The Milwaukee, however, the DeWalt's super smooth. It's easy. You don't have to do that much travel for this to go up and down, and it locks in place real easily, and it stays there after letting off. The Milwaukee, it's not as smooth, and you have to push it a little bit further down to get it to go more freely, and it could have a little bit less travel for totally free and locked. The Makita is the only one that is freely moving without touching this. It's in the sprung back position. It wants to go up and down, so in order to lock it into place, you have to do that, and then it locks it. But then you flip it up, it springs back, and it's free again. All right, the other great thing about these plunge routers is they all have your depth adjustment on them here. So the great thing about this depth adjustment is for just mortising certain stuff in. Let's say you want to mortise a piece of hardware in. You'd go on your material, you'd bring this down so the bit would touch the material. Then you go, let's say the bit's touching the material right there. You go and bring this down till it hits that when it's touching your material. And then you lock it down like this. Take this in here, and you bring it up and put that in there, and then when you plunge down, since this is nice and tight, you're going to go down and it's going to hit that and be able to get that exact same depth of the material in the piece that you're going into. Now they all have a macro and micro setting, so as far as to do for the adjustment, and if you don't have the piece of hardware, you can see on the gauge and adjust it there. So you can come up, set this to 0, and then go up 3/4 of an inch, half an inch, wherever you need to go. It even has millimeters. Set it. You could even do a test piece, and then this piece is even for micro adjustment here. So this spins up and down. That's threaded, so it goes up and down, so you can get a little micro adjustment right there on it too. And then It has a few different settings, so you can keep it in different places to go deeper or further by different steps. Now the Milwaukee is set up real nice where it just does have this for the micro, this for the macro, and then your indicator slides on this just by friction real easily. The DeWalt is almost identical setup. So you have a little knob here to adjust your macro right here, and this little threaded piece adjusts your micro, and then this little plastic piece as far as your gauge. It only has inches on the DeWalt, but they both work really well, and they're both pretty accurate. The Makita is a little bit different, a little bit harder to deal with. So this locks it so it's not going anywhere. You undo this, you push this for the macro adjustment, and it's not the smoothest because this whole thing is threaded, so it gets caught up still, and then you have to have it locked in to do the micro adjustment, and you have to turn this entire thing. This is real close to it right here. It's hard to turn it real good, and then this to tell where it is. It's hard to see it. You're going straight on. This isn't real as accurate as the other two are. But so the Makita is a little bit smoother as far as the up and down. I don't like how you have to push to lock it compared to the Milwaukee. But if you do have the Makita and you don't like this base for the Makita, the nice thing is the Makita will work in the Milwaukee base. The shaft diameter size is exactly the same. It's the Milwaukee will not work in the Makita though. So there's a little option for you. Alright, so dust collection, all three plunge bases, you can get dust collection on them. The Milwaukee or the Makita and the DeWalt are both similar how they go in. They kind of clip in, and then they have one little threaded wing nut piece that kind of holds them in. The Makita, like all Makita tools, this is kind of your standard fitting. This is a Bosch hose right here, same size as the Thess tool. You can get it in there, but it really doesn't want to stay. You really kind of need an adapter. The DeWalt fits a little bit better. It's still not the best fit. The Milwaukee definitely has the best fit out of them all. It's a little bit different as far as this connection. Go in there. It's put in by this metal bar here, and then it tightens down by these two wing nuts here. So it's a pretty solid connection. The Makita sometimes wants to unclip and come out even though it's tightened down. With this little nut right here, it still wants to come out. The DeWalt is in there pretty good. It's not going to want to come out. I haven't had it want to come out when using it, but the Makita I've had it come out a couple times. The dust collection is on all three of these about the same as far as how they work, on par with each other. It's going to get as much dust as the other three are going to get. Alright, so that's pretty much all the attachments and stuff you can get for the DeWalt. The Makita and Milwaukee, the Makita has a couple more, the Milwaukee has one more attachment that you can get for it. So both the Makita and the Milwaukee, you can get these offset bases. These are really good if you're in a situation where the router needs to go real tight and you need to route something real tight up against something that's too fat for the body to get in, or if you even need to get under something and route. These give you a little bit more play as far as, because the bit screws right into here, and then the router actually goes into here. So for the Milwaukee, to set this up, it's really easy. It only takes about 30 seconds. So it comes with this piece right here. It's got about a 5/16 square drive. All you got to do is thread that on, and then you just drop it in there. As long as the square drive lines up, tight it down, put your router bit in there, and then it's good to go. Power transfer is really good. I haven't had it want to skip around on the belt or anything. And visibility is also really good too. You can see that edge pretty good, and it's pretty stable for this pie-shaped base. Now the Makita, on the other hand, takes a little bit longer to put in. It's kind of a pain in the butt because you can see this belt in here, it's just loose, where the Milwaukee is permanently set in there. So in order to get this on, first thing you gotta do is put this gear drive on that's provided with it. And then what I found the easiest thing to do is unscrew these 4 screws of this base and take the base completely off. Or it might be a different way to do this, but this is the easiest, fastest way I've found. You can see the Milwaukee already took 30 seconds to set up. This takes about 4 or 5 times longer, at least, just to set up. I gotta worry about not losing those screws. Lock it down. Then you gotta put the screws back in. And then you're ready to put the bit in it and go. This one has a little bit less visibility. When you turn the light on, it's a little bit less light on here, whereas versus the Milwaukee kind of lights it up better with that clear base. You can see the area a little bit better versus this. So you can see clear advantage, just the belt being always fixed on here and having that arbor on there all the time takes very little time to change that out. So the Makita fits the Milwaukee plunge base. So I was hoping that it would work because this is far superior to the Makita. However, this drive, it's different thread. So if you could somehow find something for the Makita that threaded on here, there's a 5/16 square drive, it would probably work, but that might take something custom. So unfortunately, this will not work with this Milwaukee part. So the last attachment that we're going to look at that you can get for the Makita and is only exclusive to the Makita is this tilt base. This is really cool tilt base. It basically goes from negative 30 to 45 degrees. And the nice thing about this is, so say you have to put a chamfer on something or match an existing chamfer and it's a weird degree and you only have a 45 degree chamfer bit, you could even get a straight bit and match that degree, put a straight edge on the piece you're chamfering and ride it along and then make that same exact chamfer without having to have a variety of different degree chamfer bits. Also, sometimes if trying to match something, you might need a like an OG or something like that. Might be a little bit off, and if you angle that bit, you can match the old existing stuff. So this makes it really easy to do that. So it's kind of a unique little base plate, but could really help you out in different situations. So this is real simple, nothing fancy, but it does the job real good. Little base plate. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe saw some new attachments that you didn't know was out there, and maybe that could help you. I'll put links to all the different attachments in the description below if you want to get one, or even the whole router. Some decent deals that I can find. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you want more, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram, where I have daily stories and a lot more tool reviews and projects I'm working on. Oh, I got the I'm gonna put the bit in it.